some more exciting news?
Yeah!
We're sending out the Melbourne Church this year. We have been looking at the budgets and everything like that, and because no one really has a visa for Singapore, we're not going to send out to Singapore. It means we're going to have to hire every mission team member, and so this is a cheaper option, but more a practical option in terms of we feel like until God opens up those situations, then Melbourne is the next option. So, yeah, see me afterwards if you want to go. And if you're on the Brisbane mission team, no, you can't now. Okay, so tonight we're going to be talking about discipline and goal setting.
Let's go.
Because it's great to talk about dreams.
Let's go. Let's go, Joe.
But without the discipline, you ain't going to get there.
Yeah, that's right.
The focus of this study is personal growth by goal setting and being discipled. Motivation gets you going, but discipline makes you succeed.
Come on.
I've had so many people go, I just don't feel motivated. Join the club. All right, join the club. The reason there are so many videos and books on how to be motivated is because people aren't motivated. So if you're looking at yourself as like you're weird, no, it's weird to meet somebody that is continually motivated.
Let's go, PJ.
All right? But if you aim at nothing, you achieve
nothing.
Okay. Some memory scriptures. Let me encourage you. Actually memorize them. That's a good discipline. Proverbs 10:17. He who heeds discipline shows the way to life, but whoever ignores correction leads others astray. So if you're ever around somebody that just don't take advice, don't hang out with them, because you'll become like them. Proverbs 10:26 says, vinegar to the teeth and smoke to the eyes, so is a sluggard to those who send him. 2 Timothy 1:7, for God did not give us a spirit of timidity, but a spirit of power, of love, and self-discipline. So there's no excuse. All right, so we were created to have purposeful lives, and that is how we become happy.
Yeah.
It is amazing how in the new movement, this was never a problem in the old movement when I led a church with Kerry in Birmingham. It was 40% West Indian. And let me just tell you, the West Indians know how to have fun.
They do.
They would bogle and party and all that sort of stuff. However, it seems like today's generation are so stuck to their phone, you need to be commanded to have a high quality life.
Right, that's true.
Because you're more interested in watching somebody else having a great life than having one yourself.
Well, tell us.
Discipline is how you have a happy life.
Right.
It has been discovered that if a man retires and he has no purpose, he'd most likely die in 18 months. It's actually why when people retire, it's really important in the world, not that we ever retire, that they play golf or something, because otherwise you just go, what's the point in life?
Yeah, that's true.
Here are 4 points that will help you be effective in your Christian walk. Point 1, God disciplines us for our own good.
Come on.
You ever been spanked by your father and goes, this hurts me more than you, and you look at him and go, you really? I don't think so. Well, yeah, that is how God feels. Okay, continual discipline, Hebrews 12:4. In your struggle against sin, and it is a struggle, you have not resisted the point of shedding your blood. In other words, it's not as bad as Jesus on the cross.
Come on.
As you have forgotten the word of encouragement that addresses you as sons. My son, do not make light of the Lord's discipline, and do not lose heart when he rebukes you, because the Lord disciplines those he loves, and he punishes everyone he accepts as a son. Endure hardship as discipline. God has treated you as sons. For what son is not disciplined by his father? If you are not disciplined, and everyone undergoes discipline, then you are illegitimate children and not true sons. Moreover, we have all had human fathers who disciplined us, and we respected them for it. How much more should we submit to the Father of our spirits and live? Our fathers disciplined us for a little while, as they thought best, but God disciplines us for our good, that we may share in his holiness. No discipline seems pleasant at the time, but painful. Later on, however, it produces a harvest of righteousness and peace for those who have been trained by it. You know, we changed many things in order to become Christians, and it was challenging, but a very exciting time for us in our life. How often do we share our testimony? Let me tell you how I became a Christian. But at the time, you weren't fired up about what you were going through. It seemed like a massive challenge, but once you were through, you go, man, I gave up this, I gave up smoking, and I've really changed, and etc. like that. You know, this happened purely by the inspiration of the scriptures in our life.
Yep.
This changed without the help of the Holy Spirit that we got at baptism. So it's really amazing when you go, I feel like I can't do it. Just go back to how much you changed before you became a Christian, and that was just with somebody studying the Bible with you. That wasn't even with the Holy Spirit yet. Imagine how much more we will change with the help of the Holy Spirit. The process of change should continue on until the day we die.
Yeah.
We can change, we will change, and we must change.
Come on.
Something I realized, even in the old movement, I took somebody, predominantly in my position, to the airport. I was just a young Christian and whatever, and I took this world sector leader to the airport. And I said, how did you become a world sector leader? He said, I was just there at the beginning. I'm not the best leader. And it always stuck with me because that's how I've ended up here. We were the first couple in Australia that came out and wanted to start the church. We are not the best leaders. James and Lon, between them, are far more intelligent than Kerry and I. That's a doctor and a lawyer with 4 degrees. Right, yeah, I didn't say no, 4 degrees. She studied law in China, in UCLA in Los Angeles, in University of New South Wales here, and then to lead the church in Hong Kong, she had to study again in Hong Kong.
Come on.
So no, we are not the best, okay? We were just here first.
Let's go, Joe.
So what does that encourage you? That means you can change, you will change, and you must change. So, I know some of you know my story, but there's been so many young Christians this year. So, when I grew up, I was from a little village, and I went to a boarding school, and I did not pass my high school certificate in English. Okay, so who here went to university? Okay, so none of you qualify. Okay, who here finished school? All right, I didn't. Do you understand where I'm coming from?
Come on.
I didn't pass my English high school certificate. And now, this Sunday for ICCM, I get to wear my doctor's floppy hat. Now, what's really cool about this? Now, what I'm saying is, that's how much God has changed me. Do you understand? That's not me. That's how much. So these, I actually got the robes of Sydney Uni. So my hope is that when we have a large enough group actually graduate, we will hold this in the University of Sydney Hall. Because we know who plays the bells for that. That's Uncle Ted.
Yeah.
But I think this is my point. If somebody didn't push me to study ICCM, somebody didn't push me to do my master's, to write a book, although I've got dyslexia and ADHD, DBB, whatever it's called. Okay. All right, okay. It shows you how much God can change you if you just stay faithful. Wow. You know, there are certain ways that He changes us. Main ways, through God-given circumstances. In other words, He puts you in a circumstance to become a Christian, right? He changed you and moved you here and everything like that. Through your own Bible study. Remember how much you changed before you got the Holy Spirit. And then through others. Yeah, the bit we don't like, being told what to do. Okay, so let's look at these things. Through God-given circumstances. Well, God is not out to give us a hard life. Neither he is into wrapping us up with cotton wool so that we won't or can't develop. It's our lack of godly character that makes us unspiritual, struggle, and sadly fall away for some. It's holes in our character. You read the Old Testament, it says, this king did this, but. God's more consumed with changing our character to get us to heaven than we are, sadly. A sign that God loves us and is at work in our lives is the fact that we receive discipline in various forms. Financial hardship. You will never learn how to make more money until you need more money. Because we all go for the comfort zone.
Yep.
Character challenges that expose our lack of un-Christ-like flaws. You know, so often people from, bro, this guy's got really angry and I don't know, doing something in the household. Great. Now we find out what's really going on in his heart. Let's deal with it. So God is always trying to expose your ungodliness. I mean, I love Sybil. She's over in China and baptizing people.
Let's go.
We at one point had to go, we think you might need to leave the house because punching walls is not a good idea.
Let's go, Sybil.
But she's become one of the most loving Chinese disciples.
Yeah.
And the fact that she punched a wall showed us that she wasn't. Then we could really focus on it. Now, I'm not saying go punch a wall, okay? Pillow might be okay, you know what I mean? But I think problems are only a problem if you don't think about God.
Yeah.
It's great that Yvette has a job now after However, now, she was not lazy. She was really, really looking for a job and everybody's praying for her.
Come on.
But she's been fruitful a couple of times during that period. So was it a problem? I tell you, in 5 years' time, she won't even remember she was unemployed. She'd just remember who she helped become.
That's true.
God uses all these things to mold us from within, and we must learn to trust in God and follow His plan, not ours. See, this concept of a beautiful life with no problems, it's not actually great. It's not great. You need challenges in your life. This is a spiritual truth that godly people embrace and ungodly people let embitter them. My life needs to be better. Compared to what? Jeremiah 10:23-24 says, Lord, I know that people's lives are not their own. It is not for them to direct their steps. Discipline me, Lord, but only in due measure, not in your anger, or you will reduce me to nothing. So when we go, this is what I want for my life, and I feel like God hasn't given it to me. It is not for you to direct your life. It's not. Go, but it's my life. No, it's not. That's like my dog going, it's my house. Woof! It's not. I bought you, I feed you, I walk you, I pick up your poo. Okay? No! Maybe God looks down at you and like, will you shut up? I walk you, I feed you, I pick up your poo. The circumstance may not seem pleasant at the time, it says, but if you persevere, it will bring around a harvest of righteousness. A more godly and Christ-like character. You will see God more clearly and see Him work more powerfully in your life. There is nothing great. Honestly, Christmas banquet comes, we go, okay, what's your greatest time in this year? You always share first about the incredible challenge, and then God how He helped you overcome it. You don't go, life was easy. That's not what you do. It's always the biggest challenge and how you overcame it. Think about some hardships you'd already been through and how they helped you grow spiritually. I'm so glad I didn't marry my first two girlfriends in the kingdom. Neither of them are faithful. And yet the first time it was like, oh no, I can't believe I broke up. This was my big dream. God was saving me. Saving me from a doomed marriage. The first job I got fired of from being a Christian, he was just giving me a better job. I actually remember my second job, and I went, God, I just really want a job where when I can pray as much as I like and just wear whatever clothes I want and just feel like I can really get into my Bible study. And then I was offered the ministry. I went, oh wow.
That's good.
And it was because I'd actually lost a job, not through my own fault, and then I was between, and they went, well, should we let it, they're obviously talking about, should we let him go and get that other job or hire him? So here I was thinking, how am I going to pay my wage that week, or my household this week? And then I was being hired. So, through our own Bible study, it is our own personal Bible study that should be inspiring us, challenging us, and calling us higher. This is the one that you are in control of. It still blows me away how scriptures come to mind. I think I was discipling the guys in New Zealand. I said, guys, you come to church and you come in and you're not dressed, and then all of a sudden 5 minutes beforehand you go in the toilet and you put your collar on and everything. I said, it does not look good for the visitors. Okay? Non-Christians, religious churches don't do that. They turn up sharp. And then this scripture came to mind in Kings. And I remember somebody sharing their Bible study with me 30 years ago. And it's about how all of the stones in the temple were finished in the quarry, and that they would arrive at the temple and no chisel or hammer would be used in the temple. That came out of his Bible study that was shared with me, and I used to disciple somebody 30 years later. Good Bible studies go deep.
Yeah.
And they may lie dormant for 30 years, but you need them in that moment. What is something that you would put into practice recently from your personal Bible study? What are you changing from? In the fellowship, there should be this sharing going on. When you're asked to do a short talk, it really should come out of your quiet time.
Yeah.
Come on.
I think about through others. Proverbs 10:17. He who heeds discipline shows the way to life, but whoever ignores correction leads others astray. So when we have people in the church that don't like to be discipled, not only is it bad for them, but if we don't deal with them, they lead others astray.
Yeah.
That's why we will not accept people not taking challenges. We won't, because they lead others astray. One great way that God gets us is through other people bringing things up to us. This is what we receive when we are discipled. This can come from those above us, besides us, but it can even come from non-Christians. I was talking to Scotty and Jenna that lead our church in New Zealand. I said, the point at which the ministry becomes easy is when you stop taking the challenges personally. That's the point where actually doing the ministry becomes easy. So if I say to you, okay, sis, that dress, it's not very attractive and it's not going to help you bring people to church. If you go, well, I just want to bring people to church, thank you so much. Then the ministry becomes really, really easy. So I went over there and I took pictures of everybody in the church. And then I showed them to Scotty, I said, let's have a look at this guy. And he had those shorts, sometimes the brothers want the trousers that, like 2 inches too short or 4 inches too short. I go, that looks like Pee Wee Herman and that is not a good reference point, okay? And you go, if a non-Christian comes in and they're a doctor, and we had doctors visiting last week, they'll look at that and go, that guy's preaching, doing a short talk, not interested. That's what they do. I said, see this person and see the person that greeted you. And if they sat there and went, man, I just feel like Joe had a go at it. The purpose I'm sharing this is so that the church can grow, the church can attract a higher caliber of people, so the contribution can go up, so we can send out Wellington. But if you take that stuff personally and you start being defensive, you may not get it originally, but you go, let me just think about it. If somebody's brought something up with me, maybe they're right. Yeah. I remember the first time I got discipled. I was on my 5th discipler. My 5th discipler in 2 years. And they all said I was arrogant. And on the 5th one I went, they might have something here.
Let's go, Joe. Come on, bro.
So, yeah, I started back. But prayerfully, I'm not like that anymore. But am I talking about you? Am I talking about you? Okay. When we hear what we need to change, we sometimes have one or two challenges or responses. We take it lightly. Yeah, whatever. That's just Joe. That's just Jesse. Or we lose heart, become self-piteous. You'll notice, I hope Paul did an exceptional job on Sunday preaching the gospel. But if you see me disciple Lee J and Paul and Beric and blood start to flow, it's because they're leaving for Fiji in 4 months. So I've got 4 months only to really ramp them up. And it's not for them to lose heart. I'm trying to prepare them as much as I can. So if you go, they're always up there preaching and stuff. It's because once they're gone, I can't see them. But it would be very easy for them to lose heart and go, man, I feel like, does Joe believe in me or not believe? I'm confused now. I absolutely believe in them. That's why it's the intense training, because once they're gone, that is it. Sometimes we can get really resentful for that period in our life where somebody really, really trains us. You know, neither of these responses produce change. They can be countered by realizing that discipline comes from a God that loves us and deeply cares for us. Knowing that things are going to work out in the end for our own good should bring us peace. Romans 8:28. We know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose. So God has a purpose for your life. And so this discipline is actually aimed towards you changing to achieve his purpose. It's not about you. It's about him.
Come on.
And I think that's what's called maturity. You actually get yourself out the way. Point 2. Own the responsibility for change. The Bible tells us to train ourselves to be godly. 1 Timothy 4:7, have nothing to do with godless myths and old wives' tales. Rather, train yourself to be godly. For physical training is of some value, but godliness has value for all things, holding promise for both the present life and the life to come. You know, I appreciate the physical training that people go through. Lee J is an MMA fighter and everything like that, okay? The real deal. I think about that. He chose a life where getting hit was what you looked forward to. Okay, so, and I can tell you one thing that has produced in him, I've challenged him and he's never responded badly. Because he understands the concept of being hit makes you stronger.
Come on, DJ.
Now, for our generation, that's a myth. So when we went to Wellington, they have a Gallipoli exhibition, which is the famous battle in the First World War, the Turkish against the Australians, etc. like that. And it's amazing. It really seemed to have a big impact on Scotty because he didn't really know about it. And the First World War, actually, Samoa was the first island to be liberated from the Germans. So go Australians, New Zealanders, Samoa. Okay? And but he was like, you know, all these young men, you know, ran to sign up. And they lived for months with no food, just biscuit and water. 120,000 of them died from disease and dysentery.
Wow.
But all of them, they have their letters there like, darling, we're having such good time with the lads, jolly ho. It's such a privilege to be with the ANZ. And literally, people died by, you know, there was a toilet which was 2 planks, and they were so malnutrition, they just fall in the poo and couldn't get out. And it's all this positive, we're doing it for the country. And honestly, we, you know, forget our mobile phone on the bus, and the world just crumbles. Now, we love to see the results of hard training in athletics, but we don't appreciate the hard work that goes into them. You study anybody, Michael Jordan, bend it like Beckham, they're always the guys that stay latest and train the hardest. You know, athletes control their diet, push themselves when it hurts, train when they don't want to, and discipline themselves. It's about getting stronger. You know I sort of had a bit of a success at the push-up, right?
Let's go.
So I saw this push-up board where you put it in and then you change it and it does all the muscles. So I ordered that for myself because I'm going for 100 a day. Do you know what I mean, like that? But there's something about it, I go, man, I'm growing stronger as I get older. Are you growing stronger? You know, they want to win and they know that they've got to be incredibly tough on themselves. Those in the church that grow the fastest usually do so by their sheer hard work. They are first to take up responsibility in the church, serving and leading. Are you a servant? Did you set anything up tonight? Did you come for song service? Is there anything you did tonight except for turn up? If you didn't, then you didn't serve tonight. Do you understand? Are you leading? Why aren't you leading? Brisbane's going out. Melbourne's going out. Fiji's going out. Take the back 5 rows out. Let me just say that. Back 5 rows, stand up. Stand up. Right? Okay. Alright. Take them out. That's the church that's left on January the 1st.
Wow.
Does that understand? Literally, we've got to raise up. Incredibly so. So, do you know specifically what you're working on in your Christian life? And do you have a specific plan? Remember that if you do something for 30 days, it will become a habit. I was talking to Ian Clegg, and he said, I'm really grateful for doing ICCM. He said, because I've always heard of all these great books like The Disciplined Life and stuff, but I've never read them in the 30 years I've been as a Christian. When was the time you read a spiritual book outside of the Bible to help you? Self-discipline. 2 Timothy 1:7. For God did not give us a spirit of timidity, but a spirit of power, of love, and self-discipline. The Bible teaches that it is spiritual to be self-disciplined.
Yeah.
Are you still looking for your discipler to change you?
Come on.
It is not their responsibility. It's a privilege to have somebody mentor you, but it is not their responsibility.
Come on.
Unfortunately, many of us grew up believing that spirituality was more equated with spaciness and emotionalism. Feeling Jesus rather than becoming like him. Quantifying our spirituality by how emotional we feel about God rather than how much like Jesus we really are. You know, so well, I really feel close to God. That doesn't make you be godly. In actual fact, I would say it's more spiritual to evangelize when you don't want to than when you want to. Because that's the true act of denying yourself. Okay, well, I just don't get on with this brother or sister that I live with. Great opportunity to become more spiritual. Here's some areas that we might need to be more self-disciplined in. Prayer. Go to bed on time. If you live with somebody and they don't get up in the morning, stay up with them that night, figure out what they're doing past 10 o'clock and destroy it. Take their phone off them, throw the television out, sell it for special contribution.
Let's go.
Whatever it is, get rid of it. They will hate you, but their life will change. Prayer. A Bible study. Don't be lazy. I don't know what you're like. I remember as a young Christian reading the Bible, you get to like Leviticus or something, and you read 4 chapters, you go, Lord, am I just thick? Do I just miss something? Do you know what I mean? Like, I know the Bible says, cry out for something. You go, okay, cry God, give me something. And the ark had a cherubim that was 6 cubits long. Okay, what's a cubit? What's a cherubim? Okay. You know what's great today? You have Google. We didn't have Google. Just put in cherubim, give us a picture, whatever, like you go, whoa, okay, and then, you know, things like that. But don't be lazy. Dig, write something down. Make an effort to remember things. Do memory verses.
Yeah.
Follow up. You know what? I got 30 contacts this week. Where was your visitor? It's because you're some religious guy that gets lots of numbers and actually doesn't talk to people. Yeah. Not being late for appointments. If you are late for church, you will be late for work and your career will go terribly. That's just a fact. You think it's a church thing? No, it's a you thing. Ooh. It's a you thing. Being on time is being late. It means you're not a servant. Get here and talk to somebody. Get here and sit down and put out the chairs. Do something. Around your homes, are you washing up, hoovering, fixing things? I appreciate Krista. She came back and, you know, we were fighting over doing the plates in our kitchen after some. No, get out. No, you get out. No, you get out.
Go on, Krista.
Personal finances. Have a budget and, yes, stick to it. Oh, everybody's got a budget. Yeah, you stick to it. All right. Contribution. Arrange to give when you're away. Give a pledge. You know, I also want to just talk about next year with our finances. You know, we want to use this next 6 months to get better jobs and really, really save up, okay? Finn was talking to me about how do I get ahead in savings? So, well, privilege in Australia, you get 4 weeks holiday. He said, if I was you, I would take a week off at Christmas and get another job. And if you actually work during that period, and it's during that triple time and quadruple time, you can get ahead $2,000 in 1 week. You work on Christmas Day, Boxing Day, New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, you can get $2,000 or $3,000 ahead. And then the conference next year, $200 for a flight, and then, you know, $200 to go to New Zealand. You can have it all done by January. Wow. But you've got to be disciplined. You've got to think about these things. You've got to aim for them. You know, dating. Go on dates. That's our hands up if you're single. Hands down if you went on a date this week. Oh, not too bad. Okay. You're confused. Okay, did I go on one? Did I not go on? Okay. And let me just say this. I think dating in the kingdom was one of the greatest inventions of the world. I really did. I was just like, it's not in the Bible. It's arranged marriages in the Bible. Okay. All right. So if you think your disciples pushing you too hard to a brother or sister, just remember. Okay. All right. Isaac, Rebecca. There you go, guys. Get it together. But the privilege to go and hang out with people of the opposite sex and have a deep and meaningful conversation, and they're forced to love you because they love Jesus. I mean, I just thought that was amazing. As opposed to the world where there's all these ulterior motives and weirdness and everything like that. I just couldn't wait. It was like evangelize on Saturday, crank, get 3 or 4 people, get home at 4, change, go, fantastic. Go on dates. Have a quality life. Diet. Saying no to sin, saying yes to good deeds. Point 3, aim and don't beat the air. Have goals. 1 Corinthians 9:26. Therefore I do not run like a man running aimlessly. I do not fly like a man beating the air. No, I beat my body and make it my slave, so that when I preach to others, I myself will not be disqualified for the prize. Considering that our lives are 70 years plus, if we're lucky, and God has given us, we must learn to use our time well. Life in the modern world is busy and our attention is demanded in so many different areas. We must learn to prioritize and to plan well. Only then can we live a productive and happy life. Believe me, when you get to my age, I value every hour. I am trying to shove in as much as I can. I really, really am. Because I have my knees going, so that means at some point I won't be able to just, you know, run down the road or something like that. So I'm enjoying what we go to New Zealand, Mount Doom, and went here and went up there and down there and walked around there, and I'm like, come on, I'm going for it.
Come on, Joe.
All right? You must learn to prioritize and to plan well. Only then can you live a productive and happy life. I think about this. I've already planned out my next 18 months. Okay, so the calendar, 2024 calendar is in the calendar in 2023 now. Why? It's so much easier. You get things so much cheaper. So we're doing the conference, getting all of that done. We're going to send Wellington the week after. We're going to take the staff after New Zealand. We're all going to go down on the mission team in Wellington. For 7 days, we're going to absolutely evangelize our brains out, crank. I'm looking forward to that. We've got the marriage event already planned. I'm showing Paul, he's like, whoa, I'm coming. Your kids are going to swim in that pool. And whoa, this is fantastic. People get fired up, plan a holiday, plan to go here, plan to go there. Honestly, guys, you need to have a life. But a great life doesn't hit you. You go after it. Come on. You need to plan holidays. Go to a conference. Go to the EMC. There's a single conference next year in Paris, the city of love. Okay? If you're single, go to the city of love. All right? Let it rub off on you. But it is amazing how many people, and if you wait, the tickets will go up and up and up and up.
Yeah.
In the interest of research, a class of students from Harvard Business School was interviewed and asked the question if they had a plan for their lives. Now, this is Harvard, you know where Fung went. Only 3% had thought out a plan. 10 years later, the same people were interviewed again, and it was found out that the collective income of the 3% who planned was greater than the 97 who did not. Why do I drive you all to get better jobs? Because honestly, if I didn't, you wouldn't. You wouldn't. And then when you were married with kids, you go, I wish I had as much money as that brother or as that sister. You've got to go for it. Get top marks in your degrees. You know, this is a worldly benefit to planning. Now think about the spiritual aspect. You know, an organized life is productive, happy, well-rendered, less anxious, more appealing to our non-Christian friends. Here are some suggestions. Get a diary. Big shot one. And look at it. Who bought a diary this year and didn't look at it? All right, a few of you honest people. Okay. Make out a weekly schedule. I live hour by hour. So before we came back, I sat down with Kerry on Monday morning and said, let's get our hourly schedule out. Text everybody, I'll get with you, and I'll get with you, I'll get with you, I'll get with you, I'll get with you. So as soon as we got back, we got productive. Spend 10 minutes a day planning. In an ideal world, you want to plan today, yesterday. So tonight, look at my emails, finish them tonight, get a plan for tomorrow, hour by hour, then I wake up tomorrow and I'm into it. All right? Have a weekly, monthly budget. Keep a list of doing things and tick them as they get done. Every day I do this. I write down everything I've got, and I put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I order them, all right? And then I'd cross them out every single day. I've got my do-it list already written today for tomorrow. You drive yourself through those things. Don't put off tomorrow what can be done today. I know what you're like. I actually get more done in the first hour after my quiet time than the last 5 hours. Okay. So if I had my list, honestly, I had my quiet time this morning, I went boom, 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 boom. And last night when I wrote the list, I go, I can't be bothered to do that, don't want to do that, don't want to do that, don't want to do that. But if you do that, it'll speed your whole life up. Point 4, lower your guard at your peril.
Come on, Joe.
Be alert. 1 Peter 5:8. Be self-controlled and alert. Your enemy, the devil, prowls around you like a roaring lion looking for someone to devour. Perhaps the most vulnerable person in war would be the person who doesn't acknowledge that there is an enemy. To live a righteous life takes much personal discipline and alertness. Do you know what your main areas of weakness are and how to overcome them? If Satan and the demons were discussing you, let's say this, Brooke. Okay. How are we going to get Brooke?
Come on, Brooke.
How are we going to get Brooke? Stealing? Nah, he doesn't steal. Okay. Lust for girlfriends? No hope there. Okay. Failed exams, discouragement. Ooh, okay. Okay, we can. Okay. Yeah, let's go down that. If you don't know what that conversation is entailing and how Satan will take you out, they will take you out. Because you won't be defending against it. It is mind-blowing, isn't it? How people suddenly just fall away. Somebody changes incredibly, becomes a great Christian, brings a visitor to Bible talk. And then because they have now changed and become happy and giving, that man is now attracted to them and then takes them away. Not realizing that when the Holy Spirit leads them, they'll become just as miserable as they were a year ago. And that's deceit. But I think some of you are like, you know, if what could pull you away? A man approaching you from the world? All sorts of different things. If you don't know, then Satan will get you. Me, absolutely critical attitudes towards leadership. What? Yeah, I've always been critical. It's one of the things I have to talk about. The difference is now I know I'm wrong. Whereas before I used to think my critical thoughts were right.
Let's go, Joe.
Does that make sense? But I just don't agree with the way things are done. You know why? Because I'm British and hardly anybody in the movement is British. So you go, well, I'm Tongan, I feel like because hardly anybody's Tongan. Well, that's the same thing. It's like, because you're different. That doesn't make you wrong, but if you think you are self-righteously right, then you are wrong. Practical advice. Once desire has a hold on you, it's more difficult to resist and you will fall. James 1:14. But each of you is tempted when, by his own evil desires, he is dragged away and enticed. Then after desire is conceived, it gives birth to sin, and sin, when it's full grown, gives birth to death. Let me tell you about an embarrassing moment when this happened to me. Okay. When I was a younger man, I was a bit more worried about my weight. And everybody at that time at my age, I don't know if I was 29 or something, was really fit and everything like that. So I bought these diet pills. All right? I was married at the time because I was like, I'm going to lose some weight, you know, be good for my wife and everything. And I was working out, it just wasn't dropping off. And now, I don't think that necessarily buying a diet pill was wrong. But the fact that I didn't tell my wife and I was hiding them in my dock drawer, covering them with my socks, I then fell into deceit. Then the sin started to come in. Now I was embarrassed. And then I was losing weight and My wife's go, oh, you're losing weight, that looks good. Now it's double deceit because I'm not really telling her how I'm losing weight. Does that make sense? Yeah. And now that slippery slope becomes, and I'm praying here going, God, I know I'm being deceived, and then I'm messed up in my time, and then I think, I'm in the ministry, if I tell my disciple, he'll kick me out of the ministry, and oh my goodness me, the spiral goes down and down and down. Then I just go and say, this is what I'm doing. What am I doing? This is stupid. But isn't that how it starts?
Yeah.
Really, really embarrassing. Even as I share it now, 30 years later, I'm still embarrassed by it. But that's how it can go. But seriously, am I talking about me, or am I talking about something you are doing? All right? Dealing with desire as soon as you are tempted by ringing someone up and confessing the temptation you are having. I'm thinking about doing pornography and I'm just phoning you, Bob, because I don't want to do it. Yeah. Believe me, that is far better than actually doing it. Yeah. All right? Amen, brother. I appreciate you calling me. Avoid situations where you'll be tempted in the first place. Internet, cable TV, late night viewing. I work a lot of the time with a documentary or something on to keep me motivated, because I'm ADHD or whatever it is anyway. And I was at this, even today, I was like, this sexual thing came on, and I went, let me fast forward. I went, no, what am I doing, you flat idiot? Just stop, not watch that, go on. But it doesn't matter how old you are, how trained you are as a Christian, the temptation is still there. Yep. Friends who smoke, don't hang out with them. Friends with bad attitudes, particularly Christians that are doing unspiritually. If you are drawn to somebody who's doing badly spiritually, it's because you're unspiritual. It's like we actually gravitate towards people that talk the same rubbish as us. Okay? So if you're not doing well, you hang out with non-Christians, with Christians or non-Christians. If you're doing well spiritually, then unspiritual people are actually quite boring. And you have to really look at your friends and go, who are they? And are they that spiritual? Feed your spiritual nature. Online sermons, books, Bible studies, prayer, edifying your fellowship. There's the old analogy of a Doberman. That's a really fierce dog. Okay? If you starve the Doberman and feed a small Chihuahua, which were actually created to kill animals, that's why they're so vicious. Okay. It is actually. Okay. So you have a Doberman that could easily kill a Chihuahua, all right, and you don't feed it, and you really feed the Chihuahua, the Doberman will actually fall in a heap, and the Chihuahua will kill the Doberman. It's the same with your spiritual nature. If you leave it dormant, the sin will come and devour it. However, if you feed it, you will be a spiritual Doberman. Much of the temptation received comes directly as a result of the evil we see throughout the day. We talk about this stuff. Absolutely, the hardest time in your life is people in part in their life. They're kids, they're at work all day, they're surrounded by non-Christians the whole day, crazy kids when they come home. That is the most challenging. We have a young church, but let me tell you, when half the church where Paulina are at, okay, with kids and everything like that, you will suddenly realize how flat awesome Pete, Paulina, Len and Kira are. All these people with babies that they're leading Bible studies, leading Bible talks, giving this, helping us raise special, etc. And Charlotte's never, I'm talking, absolutely, I know exactly what I'm talking about. So why do we spend a bit of extra money on the church, on the marriage retreat? Because they flat deserve it. Come on. Because they deserve it. Because they're the example that you'll look at and you'll be sitting there feeling 5 years' time going, how did you do it? When you go, I don't know. I just hang on here. Conclusion. God disciplines us for our own good. A lot of us have got to grow up with the concept of life isn't that hard, you just don't like discipline. Own your own responsibility to change. If you're doing badly, it's your fault. Somebody else may have kicked you in the wrong direction, but you're not turning around in the right direction. Aim and don't beat the air. Go back to your miracle goals and pray through them tomorrow. I think some of you will find that you've forgotten what your goals are this year. Lower your guard at your peril. This lesson spells goal. If we put these 4 points into practice, you'll start to succeed. Challenge. Be early on Sunday and give to someone. Pick up a chair, set it up. It is our ICCM, all right? It's a big, big deal. We're going to need a lot of help. Everybody get there for 12. We're going to have to practice and do all the funny, flowy robes and everything like that, okay? But we're going to need your help. Come and help us serve, and that's the lesson.
To hear more from Dr. Joe Willis, check out his 2 books on Amazon, The Art of Spiritual Warfare, Practicals for Becoming a Prayer Warrior, and Money is the Answer for Everything. Click the links in the description below. Also, for more life-changing lessons, subscribe to his YouTube channel, Dr. Joe Willis.